Good morning, my dear children. Welcome to today's virtual session of 9th Standard History. Let us begin today's session with a quote. Children, strive for progress, not perfection. Children, this is an inspiring quote for young achievers working hard in their lives, counting only certificates and salary slips. In this harsh judgmental world, it's hard to prioritize what truly gives us a sense of achievement to make a difference. Rather, we decide to conform to the rules of society, to strive for prestigious college, high-paying job and expensive house. This is not the progress of our mind, and certainly not what we are really capable of doing. It is just leading a turbulent life in order to get approved. We should move away from these deterrents and create a life that would make us proud when we look back at it. Children, in the previous week and yesterday, I continued the topic education. In the previous week, I introduced the topic. At that time, I told you about primary education and secondary education, and yesterday you came to know about higher education and also the different schemes which were implemented in our country to bring the change in the educational field. Today, I would like to continue the topic from National Policy on Education 1986. So, it is very necessary to open your textbook. You should open page number 26 and listen to me carefully. Children, according to National Policy on Education, certain changes of a fundamental nature were brought about in primary, secondary and higher secondary education in keeping with the changing needs of society. Under this policy, a common core curriculum was framed for all states. The expectation is that by this means all students in India will get equal educational opportunity. There is scope in the national curriculum for individual states to bring in flexibility in accordance with their cultural, geographical and historical needs. The Primary Education Curriculum 1988 was prepared on the basis of the Plan of Action designed at the national level for the effective implementation of the National Policy on Education 1986. So children, National Policy of Education brought about fundamental changes in primary, secondary and higher education. A common core curriculum was framed for all states. There is flexibility in the national curriculum for individual states to make changes in accordance with their cultural, geographical and historical needs. It expected that all students should get equal opportunity in education, and the Primary Education Curriculum 1988 was prepared on the basis of National Policy on Education 1986. Children, here I want to tell you about the competency-based primary education curriculum 1995. Even as the primary education curriculum 1988 was being implemented, a committee was formed at the national level with Dr. R.H. Dave as its chairman to determine minimum levels of learning. The Dave committee developed charts of minimum levels of learning in language, mathematics, and environmental studies up to Standard 5. The chart showed the sequence of learning of the competencies meant for each class. So children, even as the primary education curriculum 1988 was being implemented, a committee was formed under the chairmanship of Dr. R.H. Dave to determine minimum levels of learning. The Dave committee developed charts of minimum levels of learning in languages, mathematics, and environmental studies up to Standard 5th. Children, in 1975, India met with success in its attempt to use a satellite for the purpose of education. Eknath Chitnis, a scientist with ISRO, played an important role in it. SITE, that is Satellite Instructional Television Experiment, was undertaken for educational purposes under the leadership of the Space Application Center at Ahmedabad. The concept of satellite education came out of this experiment. America had helped India in this program. The program helped to make provisions for a good standard of education in rural areas. So children, the use of satellite for education was made in 1975 with the help of Eknath Chitnis, a scientist with ISRO. Satellite Instructional Television Experiment was undertaken under the leadership of the Space Application Center at Ahmedabad, and the concept of satellite education helped to improve the standard of education in the rural areas. So children, still now today you have come to know about the National Policy on Education 1986. Here also I have discussed about the competency-based primary education curriculum 1995, and then you have come to know about the use of satellite, and the concept of satellite education help to improve the standard of education in the rural areas.